So, Doom: The Dark Ages is just about to release. I have had my chance to play it. Big thank you to Bethesda for sending over the code for me to review. I put a lot of hours into it. I have rolled credits, and I want to talk to you guys about it. So let's jump in, let's review Doom: The Dark Ages. Real quick though, if you're new to the channel, we're going to be doing reviews like this and talking about all the major blockbuster games right here on this channel. More caboose. So hit that like button and also subscribe. Turn on those notifications. You don't want to miss all the content coming to this channel. I'll start off by saying that I'm not a die-hard Doom fan, all right? I've played the 2016 game. I've also put some time into Doom Eternal, but I didn't grow up on this franchise, and I don't know every minute detail about the lore. What I am a fan of, though, is a damn good action game, and Doom: The Dark Ages is a damn good action game. Chock full of testosterone, blood, guts, gore, guns, demons, devils, and so much more. This game is relentless. It's no holds barred, and through my roughly 20-hour playthrough of the main story, I wasn't bored for a single second of it. Let's first start with the gameplay, okay? One thing I think people immediately will notice jumping into Doom: The Dark Ages, especially if you're jumping off of Doom Eternal, is that the movement is far different from the previous entry. This is, of course, due to the fact that Doom: The Dark Ages is a prequel to actually the 2016 game, which kickstarted this now new trilogy from id Software. In some ways, I will say I miss the verticality and the fast-paced movement of Doom Eternal, but in other ways, I did appreciate the attempt at making this feel like, as id Software has described time and time again, a classic Doom game. I didn't play a whole ton of the original Doom games, but I mean, I've tried them before in my life, and yeah, there is a level of familiarity there. The strafing, all that stuff feels very much like classic Doom. I imagine someone who's more into this franchise, who bleeds Doom, is going to appreciate this a lot more. And you know, I mean, you can't even really say that the game is slow. You still feel the speed and momentum that you want out of a Doom game, that's for sure. That new chainsaw shield, tossing it around like you're an M-rated Captain America, slicing a crowd of demons, then catching it in time to shield bash another demon, completely obliterating them, is so incredibly satisfying. And let's not forget about the guns, the glorious guns. We got a wide variety of them this time, all unique from one another, and all serve a specific purpose in combat, making so that you're not just going to stick to your trusty shotgun for the entire duration of the game. I also really like the different options that they gave you for melee. You know, there's a couple of different melee weapons that they provide for you in the game. Some of them definitely more fun than others, and some of them definitely way stronger than others. But it adds a nice variety to the gameplay loop, and you know, the resource for your melee is limited, so you want to use it when it's necessary, but mixing it in at the right time definitely feels good. One of the only small gripes that I do have with the gameplay is that I found the hit detection to be pretty much non-existent. You do hear Doomslayer grunt whenever you get hit, and that's something that you can actually toggle on or off in the settings, but you're not going to hear it all that much unless you're wearing headphones. It's very faint, and when you're in the heat of battle, when you got 10 million things shooting at you, and you got demons and devils chasing you down, you're not going to be really listening out for the Doomslayer grunts. There's also something in the settings you can turn on so that you can get some warnings on screen for incoming enemy attacks, but again, when you're in that heat of battle and you've got so many things going on, it's really hard to keep up. The only real warning that you actually get is when you're at critical health, and most of the time it caught me off guard that I was at critical health. I thought I was doom slaying out in certain missions, and then I looked down, I've got 50 health left. Yeah, I just kind of wish that there was something in there to inform me that I'm being hit. That way I can clean up my gameplay for the next combat encounter. But I mean, it's not like the game is super difficult. I played this on whatever the game's version of normal was. I also didn't adjust game speed or anything like that at all. I kind of left it all as is just to get the baseline experience with Doom: The Dark Ages. And I did feel a challenge on certain missions. It was rather difficult. It wasn't just a walk in the park, but it didn't feel like I was just being punished the entire time, which I imagine is probably how it's going to feel like if you're playing on the highest difficulty or if you crank up that game speed to 200%. In general, I really appreciate all the accessibility options that are available, and for anybody that wants to have more of a laid-back experience, that's something you can do. But if you are someone who loves Doom, who plays these games religiously, if you are very good at them too, then you can increase the game speed, you can increase the difficulty to make the game that much more challenging. And alright, Doom: The Dark Ages also features some brand new ways to slay some demons. In this game, you can load up into a freaking mech or ride a damn dragon. It is batshit insanity in all the best ways. I will say there isn't nearly as complex combat during the dragon or mech missions. The dragon missions in particular are very samey. You know, a lot of those missions where you're riding on the dragons end up boiling down to shooting at a ship, going up against one of the turrets, dodging left or right until you can destroy the ship, rinse and repeat until the mission is over. The mech missions also fall victim to this a little bit. It's just punch, 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 get ready for an incoming attack, do a perfect dodge, punch some more, and then take the Titan down. But the missions with the mechs felt a bit more fleshed out than that of the dragon missions. You know, there are different combos that you can go for. You can build up to different tiers of takedowns that you can use. It's fun. And weirdly, I compare the missions with the dragon or with the mech very similarly to how I would look at the Batmobile missions in Batman Arkham Knight, for example. The Batmobile just feels so drastically different from anything that you would do in an Arkham game that it almost feels like it's Rocksteady flexing a little bit and showing what they can do as a dev team and not just give us the same thing over and over and over again. So with Doom the Dark Ages, it was almost as if id Software was saying, hey, we can have you flying around on a dragon. We can have you in a giant mech. It doesn't have to just be the same old Doom game every single time. And everything just runs and feels real smooth, so much so that whenever we get the next Doom installment, I hope that the dragon riding or the mech fights come back and are a bit more fleshed out. But all right, let's now move on from the gameplay. I also wanted to take some time to praise the level design in this game, the range of locations that you're going to, and the level of scale that you can feel from them is breathtaking. You're flying high in the sky with your dragon or plunging into the depths of hell. I mean, damn, there's even some wild Lovecraftian style missions that genuinely feel creepy and provide such an interesting, unfamiliar atmosphere for a Doom game. I also appreciated that plenty of the missions have large explorable areas with tons of secrets, collectibles, and gold to grab. And a large majority of them also come with a list of objectives that you can do within the actual mission. Now, you want to complete these lists of objectives if you want that 100% completion for the mission itself, but also some of these mission rewards include weapon skins, which is awesome. There's that level of customization there. And then when you max out a weapon's upgrades, then it'll unlock a new challenge that you can try to complete, which will then get you like the gold skin for that weapon. All that stuff just feels very rewarding and it feels good. It's not like I have to pay $5 for the golden shotgun skin. I just unlock it through gameplay. And you know, we were talking about the gold that you're gonna grab in some of these missions. Resources to upgrade your equipment is not super easy to come by in this game, so hit the ground running and make sure you've scooped up as much gold as you can find. Complete those puzzles and get those rubies as well. All of those little things that you can do while you're exploring in these missions are very important because you are not going to get a ton of these resources. They are hard to come by and you're going to want them if you want your weapons to feel good and feel strong towards the end of the game. But now let's move on to what I will unfortunately say is the weakest element of Doom the Dark Ages, and that's the story. For me, at least, it was pretty confusing and hard to follow. It's definitely not without some badass moments and some killer cutscenes, but overall, the flow of the story and getting from point A to point B felt rather convoluted. Maybe the lore nuts will appreciate it more than I did, but also, is this even why you're here? Like, you know what you want out of a Doom game, and I can promise you that even if you were hoping for a compelling story, it is not something that was very high on the list of priorities. And if nothing else, the story is heavy metal as hell. Like, even when you thought it couldn't possibly get more hardcore heavy metal than it already is, it does. To be fair, it's something you probably should go in expecting when the game starts like this. And yeah, the music rips, man. It shreds. It's so good. Shut off your Spotify playlist and just appreciate the score for this game because it adds so much to the gameplay. And then boot your Spotify back up and just listen to all the Doom soundtracks. It's just incredible. All in all, Doom the Dark Ages isn't a perfect game, but it 100% is the perfect action game. Unless the rest of the year is insanely stacked, I think this is for sure going to get nominated for Game of the Year. I think it's almost a lock to win Action Game of the Year. I logged in just about 20 hours to complete the main story when I rolled credits, and that's even not getting 100% completion on most of the missions. As a completionist and as well as somebody who likes the game, I am definitely going to jump back in and log a lot more hours trying to get that 100% completion. I'm going to give Doom the Dark Ages an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely pick this up if you're on the fence. Why would you be? But also, it's going to be on Game Pass. So if you have an Xbox, it's a no-brainer. And there you have it. That is my review for Doom the Dark Ages. I hope you guys enjoyed. What do you guys think? Are you excited for the game? Were you on the fence? Are you going to get it now? I want to hear all your thoughts in the comment section below. I've been Caboose. I'll see you guys later.